Welcome back to Let's Chat Iterable's weekly download on marketing's biggest shifts. This week, we're diving into two-sided marketplaces, where buyers and sellers meet, algorithms guide discovery, and marketers work double time to keep both sides engaged.
And these aren't niche anymore, are they? Marketplaces are huge.
Huge is an understatement. Marketplaces aren't just a business model anymore, they're how the world shops. Get this.
Yeah.
Over 64% of online purchases in North America happen through marketplaces. We're talking roughly $750 billion in transactions.
Wow, 64%.
And even if you take Amazon out of the picture, 1 in 4 e-commerce purchases now flows through these multi-seller platforms.
So it's clearly a dominant model. What's really behind that massive growth?
So what's driving this dominance? It's all about network effects. But with opportunity comes complexity. Unlike single-sided brands, marketplaces must attract, convert, and retain two distinct audiences simultaneously, each with different needs, behaviors, and expectations. Let's break down the playbook for doing it well.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our sources lay out a pretty clear path. And the starting point, well, it's always the toughest one, getting that critical mass.
Right. Andrew Chen, in The Cold Start Problem, he really nailed this. It's that classic chicken and egg situation, isn't it?
Totally. No sellers means, well, no inventory, so buyers don't show up.
And if there are no buyers, then sellers have absolutely no reason to list their stuff. It feels almost impossible to get started.
It really does. That initial phase, that cold start, it must just eat up resources because you're basically faking it till you make it, trying to show value before the network effect actually kicks in.
Exactly. And the goal isn't just to, launch. It's hitting critical mass. That's the real turning point, where things shift from just surviving to actually growing sustainably. And something interesting that the research we looked at, trying to fix this by just, say, throwing money at buyers with huge discounts. Apparently, that's a recipe for failure. Why doesn't that work?
Well, it's fascinating, actually. Discounts, they tend to attract people just hunting for a bargain, right? They don't bring in users looking for, like, a reliable community or a service they can count on.
Oh.
Yeah, a 2024 study we saw, looking at the rise and fall of these markets, found platforms tanked if they only used discounts to get going.
So what did work?
They needed a proper coordinated marketing campaign, something that signaled, opportunity to sellers and convenience to buyers, both at the same time.
Not just throwing cash around.
No, definitely not just paid ads everywhere. It was more focused, bringing in those early adopters who were looking for something specific, maybe in a niche.
Okay, so it's really about signaling trust, building a sort of mini ecosystem right from the start. And the momentum, once they do hit that sweet spot. That sounds pretty amazing.
Oh, it is. The study showed once these platforms got from maybe 20% to 60% market share, the whole system just got better. Like, wait times dropped for ride sharing, listings got more relevant for housing.
And that improvement itself becomes a magnet.
Exactly. It acts like this huge accelerant, pulling everyone else in. So the practical lesson here seems pretty clear. You've got to front load your supply, really focus on giving the buyer value first.
Right. And build credibility, maybe by starting smaller. Like focusing on one specific niche or just one city before trying to go nationwide.
Perfect strategy. And use your marketing not just to say, hey, we exist, but to actually show there's activity. Showcase live listings, maybe recent sales numbers.
Yeah.
Prove that the wheel is already turning.
Okay, so that covers getting off the ground. But once you have buyers and sellers and transactions are happening, the power dynamics shift, right? And that seems to be where algorithms really step in.
Oh, yeah.
We often think of them as just, simple matching tools.
Yeah.
But the sources we looked at suggest they're much more than that. They're actually moving markets, shaping competition, even pricing.
That's where it gets incredibly interesting and maybe a little scary. Let's talk about the buy box.
Yeah, that top spot.
Yeah.
How important is it, really?
Okay, prepare yourself. An economic analysis found that an absolutely staggering 95% of buyers only consider that single promoted offer.
95%.
95. And wait, it gets better. Or worse, depending on your perspective. That one spot accounts for 96% of all sales on the platform.
Whoa. Okay, let that sink in. Almost every single sale dictated by one algorithmic choice. That means the algorithm isn't just matching, it's basically designing the market structure, setting prices, defining the competition.
It really is. I mean, think about it. If you're a seller and you're not in that buy box, you're fighting with everyone else for just 4% of the sales.
That completely changes the game for sellers and for the marketplace, marketers trying to manage them. The research said winning that spot drives really aggressive, price elastic competition.
Yes, exactly. And price elastic here basically means Sellers get hyper-focused on price. They'll cut prices aggressively, shaving off pennies just to win that top slot.
Instead of focusing on maybe better service or unique features.
For basic goods, yeah. It often pushes them towards price wars rather than differentiation because the algorithm controlling that top spot overvalues price.
Okay, if these algorithms have that much power, it brings up a big question.
Yeah.
Can we actually steer them towards, good outcomes, not just ruthless price competition?
Absolutely, and that's the hopeful part. While they can drive intense competition, they can also be designed to promote quality and fairness. Well, one study showed smart algorithm design generated something like $25 million in long-term value for consumers just by nudging shoppers towards higher quality, more trusted listings.
So prioritizing things beyond just the lowest price, like seller ratings or shipping reliability.
Exactly. Seller verification, reliable shipping, good return policies, things that build trust. And even more powerfully, we saw examples where algorithms designed with bias mitigation in mind actually reduced racial pricing gaps in housing markets by 45%.
45%, that's huge. So the takeaway for platforms is what? Find a balance.
Yeah, it's a balancing act. You need some transparency for sellers so they understand the rules of the game. But buyers, they usually want simplicity, a guided experience.
So you need clear quality signals ratings, verification badges, maybe guarantees to feed the algorithm good information.
Right, and then test things. Test algorithmic nudges that maybe encourage buyers to explore a little, not just click the absolute top result instantly.
It's tricky, balancing that seller complexity with the buyer's desire for ease of use. If it feels too complicated for buyers, they'll just bounce.
You got it. Simplicity on the front end, managing complexity on the back end.
Okay, moving on. Let's say you've hit critical mass. Your algorithms are reasonably balanced.
Yeah.
What's the next big threat? Our sources point to leakage.
Leakage. The silent killer for many marketplaces.
Define that for us quickly.
It's basically when a buyer and seller meet on your platform, maybe for a big job like hiring a contractor or a high-value item, but then they kind of sneak off platform to do the actual deal.
Why? To avoid the platform fees.
Usually, yeah. They use the platform for discovery, but cut it out of the transaction to save on commission, and it can really eat into profits.
So how do you stop it? Is it just about, blocking certain keywords and messages?
That's part of it, maybe, but it's not the real solution.
Right.
Blocking words is just a cat and mouse game. The core issue is trust and value. You have to make staying on the platform indispensable.
Meaning the platform fee can't just feel like a tax for finding someone.
Exactly. It has to feel like an investment in something valuable that they lose if they go off platform.
Okay, so what kind of value justifies the fee? What's hard to replicate on your own?
Security is a big one. Think robust insurance, secure payment systems like escrow, maybe legally binding dispute resolution if things go wrong.
Right.
Even just easy record keeping for taxes can be a huge plus.
Right. If going off platform means you lose payment protection or have no backup if the deal sours, suddenly that fee looks pretty reasonable.
Totally. And we saw some smart examples. Airbnb, for instance, they switched things up for their professional hosts outside North America, went from splitting the fee to a host-only fee model.
And that helps.
Big time. Made the structure clearer for hosts, apparently. Resulted in a 17% jump in bookings.
Interesting. And DoorDash.
They introduced tiered commissions,
Yeah.
gave partners flexibility based on what services they actually needed from the platform, helped cut down on churn. It's about offering tailored value.
So meeting partners where they are. And platforms are getting better at proving this value, right?
Yeah.
Especially to users who might be drifting away.
Yeah, definitely. Take Redfin, the real estate brokerage. They had this common challenge. Inactive users, both potential buyers and sellers who'd signed up but then just stalled.
Okay, prime candidates for potentially leaving or trying to bypass the system.
Exactly. So Redfin needed to remind them, personally, why sticking with Redfin was valuable.
How did it do it?
They used some pretty sophisticated AI to figure out which inactive users were most likely to actually leave or go completely cold. Then, using Iterable's AI-driven predictive features, they send out these hyper-personalized messages.
Tailored to whether they were a buyer or a seller.
Precisely. Not generic blasts, but messages triggered by behavior, speaking directly to their situation in the journey. Really smart reactivation. They saw a 72% increase in conversions among sellers and a 15% increase among buyers from that campaign.
Okay, speaking of both sides, the final insight really focuses on keeping them engaged long-term. It seems many marketplaces treat buyers and sellers like separate streams.
Yeah, and that's a mistake. Because they're totally linked, right? If one side slows down or gets frustrated, the other side feels it almost instantly. Disengagement on one side often leads to it on the other.
So platforms need to think of themselves less as just middlemen.
Exactly. They need to be orchestrators. The best ones design these holistic lifecycle journeys that are mirrored. They get that friction for a buyer is an immediate risk for a seller, and vice versa.
What does a mirrored journey look like in practice?
It means the platform reacts based on what's happening on the other side. You map out the key stages for both onboarding, getting active, preventing churn, and then you use AI-driven signals to trigger responses automatically.
Okay, give me an example.
Sure. Let's say high-value sellers suddenly drop off in one area. Instead of just waiting for buyers to notice the lack of options, the platform could proactively nudge top buyers in that area. Maybe promise new inventory is coming, or even prompt sellers in a nearby area to list more.
Ah, okay, so if buyer activity dips, maybe sellers get a prompt to refresh their listings or offer a small discount.
Exactly. Or if seller availability drops, maybe top buyers get a little incentive to hang tight. It's about keeping the whole ecosystem in balance actively. It's synchronized engagement.
Synchronized, I like that. Reacting to the other side's behavior keeps things healthy. But that sounds complex to manage.
It definitely can be, which is why automation powered by AI signals is so crucial here. You need the tech to handle that complexity across all your channels, but still personalize it where it counts. Think about Care.com. They connect people seeking care with caregivers, a classic two-sided model. They needed to manage engagement smoothly on both sides and scale up personalization.
How did they tackle that complex orchestration?
They used Iterables journeys to optimize everything. By setting up these intelligent, automated flows that mirrored the needs of both sides, they actually saved 25% of their team's time.
A quarter of their time back. And they could scale the personalized stuff without needing more engineers.
That's the key. Let the platform, like Iterable, handle the complex orchestration so the team can focus on the bigger picture strategy.
Two-sided marketplaces don't just need growth, they need balance. Want to see how brands are already doing this? Check out Iterable's article, How Leading Dual-Sided Marketplaces Power User Engagement. Learn how Redfin, Glassdoor, and Care.com are using AI, cross-channel orchestration, and smart journeys to power sustainable marketplace growth. That's all for this week's episode of Let's Chat. In a world where marketplaces move fast and expectations move faster, balance is your greatest growth strategy. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Same place, same chat.